So what is up everyone? Today I want to share with you how to bring new life into old projector lenses. Stay tuned. So what you can see here is a projector lens from the 1940s. It's from a called Zeiss projector, and it is a Zeiss Orikar 1 to 3.6 and a focal length of 150 millimeters. It is from a slide projector from the 1940s. And to clear one thing first, the projector was quite dead. It was beyond repair, and therefore I had to think of something to do with it, and I thought, why not do a project and bring this one back to life. So you have to know one thing first, and that is you need a camera using no mirror because of the way the adapter should flange on to this and to use this camera with. And now the way I did this was by using a flange. And this flange was a near focusing flange, so you have two parts, and then you have rings to put in between, and therefore I am able to focus this lens to infinity. So I found out that by just using those two brackets together, this lens will focus to infinity. It has a special focusing on it. You can see that here. If you squeeze it around there, you can see the front part expanding. So the most inner position, that is the infinity, and the most outer one, that is the nearest focusing point. So I found out the distance between the barrel and the camera has to be just those two parts, and for further adjusting I could just screw this a little bit out and a little bit in to make fine adjustments. And if the flange distance had to be bigger, I just could have taken part of the rings, screwing them between and adjusting it that way. But in this case there was no need for that. Another thing to mention is this barrel was attached to the slide projector using 3 screws, screwing one in there, one in there, and another one in there. You have to cover those holes, because if you don't do that, you have a lot of light leakage coming from the side in there, and lowering down your contrast, and you really don't want to have that. So what I did is I found a squishy stripe with you use it to lay down carpets and stuff like that. And yes, there was glue on the outside, and then I glued it in, and there we go. We now have a fully sealed lens camera combination. The way I fixed this barrel onto this mount was just to use a lot of super glue. That works really nice, really well. And yes, one thing to know is this lens in especially has no coating on it whatsoever. So if you use it to take a photo and you have light coming from the side, then you will have a lot of lost contrast. So you will have to use a sun blocker on the outside. So stuff like that, something like that will work amazing. Yes, if you don't use that, the pictures won't be good. So now how this looks on the camera is you have your camera and then you screw it on. There you go. You will have to hold it on the barrel because it is quite hefty, but the super glue holds down the camera really well. So you hold it like that, and there you focus it up front. What you will find is with lenses this old, this projector was used at my old university. They had quite a lot of them, but the unit I found was quite beaten up. What you will find is that the lens quality, it's not bad, but it's not up to the standards of today's camera, of today's lenses. This lens isn't really sharp. I will show you that later on with a few sample pictures. And you will find if you use it to take pictures that you have to adjust quite a lot of contrast and stuff like that. You will have chromatic aberrations. Yes, it just isn't a really sharp lens, but it's quite good fun to use, especially with the focal length being 150 millimeters and at the f3.6. It's quite a good combo, and it will bring back life into this old lens. So because using this lens without a lens hood isn't much of a joy, what I decided to do is I used those parts that would go between there to fix on front of the lens as a lens hood. This works fantastically because the counterpart to this groove just fitted snugly around there. I hope you can see that. It is amazing how well this fits, and so I glued this in place because you really can't use the lens without this. What this made me able to do is focus this lens using this lens hood, because using the stick here can be challenging because it isn't that precise, and sometimes it stops and it rattles, and using it here on the front works a treat. So now I will show you the pictures. Center sharpness is in sometimes quite well. You will have to increase the sharpness in post-process. You will have to adjust the contrast problem in post-process as well. But it is quite a fun little lens to use. I know the pictures aren't that great. I hadn't had much time to use this lens, but they will show a little of the characteristics of this lens. So that was how you will get use out of such an old vintage lens again from a projector. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.